Alright guys, today I'm going to show you how to assemble our newest scooter from Lunicycle. Once you've unboxed the scooter and taken all the packaging off, this is what you'll be left with. You'll have your front wheel, which you can set aside. You'll have the kickstand with the mounting hardware, the headset spacer, and then a 19mm socket to help get the front wheel on. The first thing you're going to want to do is get the stem and handlebars mounted. So to do that, the first thing you need to do is remove this little top cap. Next, you want to grab the handlebars and lift the fork up into place. If these crown bolts are tight, go ahead and loosen them. But you're going to want to drop this upper crown onto both of these fork legs, just like so. And then there is a very long spacer which is going to go onto here. Go ahead and just drop this spacer into place. You can just leave your handlebars loose for now. You want to tighten down this top cap to 10 Newton meters. You want this pretty tight. There is a lot of forces going on to the headset here. So go ahead and get this nice and tight. Alright, now you can straighten out your handlebars. And once you get these lined up nice and straight, you can go ahead and tighten down the stem. The stem has these two hidden wedge bolts right here. See, they're very hidden. So you're going to want to tighten these. Factory recommends 8 Newton meters on these, so you're going to want to get these pretty tight. And go left and right, left and right. So do one and then the other, then one, then the other, until these are really tight. There we go. Next, you take your 5mm Allen tool and tighten all these crown bolts. You have 6 on the front. And then 1 here on the back. Alright, now that you've got your handlebars secured, the next thing we're going to do is the hardest part of the assembly, and that's install the front wheel. To do this, you're going to want to prop the scooter up, either on a milk crate or some type of block. Or if you have a helper, they can help lift the scooter up to help you get the front wheel on. Alright, now it's time to install the front wheel. The first thing you want to do is remove the little nuts on either side and then the silver washer. You do need to leave this black washer in place. Now in order to orientate this, you do want to be sure this wire that comes out of the motor is facing the back of the scooter. You don't want it coming out of the front. And you do want to focus on the disc brake. The disc brake is going to be a little tricky to line up, so I went ahead and loosened these 2 caliper bolts right here. It's going to help you line up the whole brake assembly. Okay, so focus on the disc brake getting lined up into the caliper, and then this axle is slotted. So you see how one side is flat, and then the tops and the bottoms are rounded. You want to be sure this gets perfectly straight up into this dropout, just like this. Once it's in there, you can install the little silver washer and just finger tight the axle nut into place. Alright, now you can focus on the non-brake side. The non-brake side does not have a spring in it, so you can move this leg just with your hand. This one should just pop into place. Install the washer and nut on that side. Now it's time to install the kickstand. We want the scooter on the ground before we tighten the front wheel all the way. You want to be sure the front wheel is all the way up in the dropouts. So just go ahead and install the two 5mm bolts that are included in the parts box. So now that you have the scooter on the ground and the nuts are still a little bit loose, it is time to fully tighten up this axle. You want these nice and tight. Factory saying 35 Newton meters on these, which is fairly tight. So go ahead and tighten the left and the right side. Go ahead and check them twice. Alright. Now since we loosened up the caliper, we're going to go ahead and squeeze the front brake and tighten up the two caliper bolts. This will just recenter the front brake and keep your front rotor from rubbing. Now because we have the motor unplugged, it's now time to go ahead and plug in the front motor. To plug in the front motor, just line up the two arrows on the two connectors, push it all the way in, and then thread down this little silver retaining nut. The front brake line should already be retained in this little plastic clip. If it's not, just go ahead and put this plastic clip to keep this wire from touching the spokes. Alright guys, before you go ride your scooter, be sure to air up the tires. We found 20 PSI is great for street riding, but these are big balloon tires, so you can go very low, down to like 8 PSI. Once you've aired up your scooter, you power it up with this little power button right here. When you first turn it on, it's going to be in level 0. Level 0 does nothing. You have 5 different levels of power, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, and 3 are rear wheel power only. So it is much easier to learn how to ride this thing in the lower levels. Now before the throttle will work, you do need to press this little red button right here. This activates throttle. It is just a little safety switch. You also have a front and a rear light. You hold down the up button to turn on the lights, and then you can change the angle with the power button. It kind of angles it up and down. I do recommend you power this off if you're walking it through your garage. It is really easy to accidentally hit the throttle. Now I'm going to show you how to charge this thing. Alright, to charge the Super Scooter, there is 2 batteries. You have a big battery in the deck and a big battery up in the down tube. You do need to charge them separately. So to charge the deck battery, you use this charge port. To charge the down tube battery, you use this charge port.